This video is going to share with you some dirty little secrets about captive insurance agency cults, how to spot a captive insurance agency a mile away, and they will not want you clicking on this video. They will not want you watching it for even a minute, because if you knew these 5 points that I'm going to share with you, you may run for the hills, my friends. So I'm going to share with you some things that they will never want you hearing, and I hope this helps you. And before I go into these 5 points, my name is Jason. I'm your friend in the business, and I'm very blessed to partner with some captive insurance agents that have found freedom and found tremendous success selling life, Medicare, and annuities face to face, but more importantly, in the telespace, tremendous compensation, tremendous freedom. And if you need any resources, jasonfinalexpense.com. Be more than blessed to help you. So let's dive into these 5 points with you. I hope these are going to take you far. They will not want you hearing this. So first off, number one, a captive insurance agency typically only sells one company or maybe 3 companies or a little family of companies. It's very limited in their offerings. They are an agent for the company versus an independent agency or an independent agent being an agent of the consumer, being a broker, looking out for the best interest by finding the best company that is the right fit. A captive insurance agent can only sell one company that they represent through the one organization. That is all about the rah-rah. I get it. They're not bad, but is there better? There may be. All right. So understand that a captive insurance agent, tip number one, only sells one company or one little family of companies. They're not allowed to be able to shop, to serve, to find the best handshake in the industry if there is a better one. They're kept in complete darkness. And the only thing that grows in darkness is, well, you probably know what that is. So understand limited offerings will give you limited options in really rising in the industry. Everything that you do should be for the consumer. So limited options give you as an insurance agent limited availability of actually finding sometimes success. Because if there's, let's say, credit card business, or maybe there's oxygen involved and your organization says we won't take that risk, you're not really going to be able to help that person, which pushes down your chance for profitability. Also, with tip number one, if they only sell with one insurance company, listen how they talk about every person that's ever left their organization. Do they speak highly of them, or is every person a cancer that leaves the organization? They may be a top producer and they realize that 45% commission, 35% commission, maybe 60% commission wasn't what they could really earn. So they leave the organization, and everybody is like, oh, that person's a drunk. Oh, that person cheated on their wife. Oh, that person was an unethical agent. If what they're saying about these great agents who were just lifted up in the organization, when they leave, listen through the noise. If they talk caustically or they talk in a way that is somehow toxic, that this person was somehow horrible and there's really no good agents that ever left the organization, that is a big sign of a toxic MLM, captive insurance agency. They don't want you to ever hear the real truth about how an insurance agent may find greater success outside of their walls. Be careful, my friends. A captive insurance agency, there's some good ones out there, but there's a lot of toxic MLM cultures out there that want to keep you in the dark. If they only sell one company, one is none, two is one. So tip number two, and I hope you're enjoying this video, is that the agents a lot of times are only interested in selling to meet sales quotas, because they can only really sell one product or a small family of products. And you're going to feel pressure to meet sales quotas, to somehow pump your bonus levels up, because they don't pay you what they should. You're not at street level. You're not at 100% compensation. You're kind of sometimes hamstrung. And then they throw that bonus out, which increases pressure to you, the agent, to somehow get your compensation into a place that you can create a way for yourself. A lot of captive insurance agencies will create big bonuses that is really something that you'll never attain. And they know this. That's why they put you at 30, 40, 50, 60% commissions, because they're creating some unreachable goal. And that's how some captive insurance agencies can somehow get you involved and get excited. But that pressure is never good for you, much less the consumer. Tip number three, a big red flag to look out for, is that your captive insurance agency doesn't have rates that are competitive. This is powerful when you're a consumer, when you can shop, when you can look between the offerings and get the best handshake for yourself as a consumer. But a captive insurance agent will normally be kept in the dark. Our policy is the best. Blankety blank life insurance is the only game in town. It's not the truth, but normally a captive insurance agency's rates are not really competitive. They're higher than your competition, meaning that you're going to lose money. You're going to lose deals because you're not the best deal out there. And that's something that you're going to have to deal with as a captive agent. Sometimes if you maybe are with a captive insurance agency that's got a great rate, perfect. Your great rate is good for how long? You can't sell anybody else's product. And the moment that your prices go sky high, you're now in a place that you can't sell as many great people as maybe you could before. This is something that you want to know about, and it's important. So if your captive insurance agency has higher rates than your competition, this creates a really bad environment for you to take your career to the very next level. So captive insurance agencies exclusively sell policies through that one company, higher premiums, sometimes with limited options compared to your competitors. Maybe if you're selling annuities, your company only offers a 2% bonus. Maybe in the independent space, there's 14 and 16% bonus available. Who do you think is going to win the sale if your consumer comes to an independent agent versus a captive insurance agent? You're not going to capitalize as well as you could if you had all the options on the table. Tip number 4, you got to understand that an agent sometimes is bonus driven. This can hurt you. This can really hurt you in insurance sales because you're so focused on the pressure that you're not putting the best interest of the consumer first. This happens. The bonus is based on you at a low comp structure, like we were talking about earlier. And number 5 that you're going to want to be made aware of is that they do not want you to have transparency about the independent compensation structure. They're going to want you to think that you've got to pay for all your own promotional information. You've got to pay for all your printing, and you're going to pay for everything. And it's just horrible. And you can't get brochures without putting out big bucks. And it's not even the truth. So sometimes captive insurance agencies will keep you in the dark. They'll make you think that something is true when it is absolutely not. You could wallpaper your house with brochures that these great independent insurance companies will provide to you. They'll send you enough that you could probably wallpaper every square inch of your home with. And I've heard so many captive agencies speak to insurance agents and just tell them things that, wow, anything but the truth. They say, oh, it's not the truth. You can't get brochures. You got to pay for all that yourself. And our captive insurance agency has this big cost to give you brochures and buyer's guides, and you're going to pay for all that yourself, and you can't afford to take that plunge. And it's not even the truth. You can find insane profitability as an insurance agent in the independent space. You can find great profitability in the captive agent space, but you've got to actually do the math, make the decision for yourself so that you can decide what's the best handshake for not only your consumer. Do you want to be able to shop for them, be in their best interest, be in their absolute corner? Do you want to be able to capitalize with some of the best handshakes in the industry for them, for your prospects? Or do you want to work for one company and represent the company's best interest? And then if the company has a vesting schedule, well, see you later. Good working for us for 3 years, 5 years. We're going to keep all your renewals. This is sometimes something that puts a lot of insurance agents that went captive into a place where they've got a bad taste in their mouth. They're more interested in recruiting into the rah-rah of the organization than taking great care of the consumer. And they're taking great care of the consumers. Don't get me wrong. They're not doing bad work. But some captive organizations, not all, are in a place where the agent loses and the company wins. Because let me tell you, that big organization, that big Ferrari, that big building that they tote was paid for by sometimes insurance agents paying the cost of not knowing their vesting schedule. That insurance agent didn't know that there was a 2-year non-solicitation clause, meaning they can't call their consumers for a period of 2 years and even fix maybe their policies because they were overpriced and the captive insurance agents didn't know this. Or maybe they were told they were going to build a business, and then they built their business and it wasn't for themselves. It was for the corporation or their manager. And they had to work for 15, 20 years, 10 years before they owned what they thought they were trying to attain. I hope this helps you. They'll want this to be silenced, but I hope this brings you some transparency in a very simple industry. There's nothing wrong with being captive. There are some great folks that I know that are captive, but do they make the same 1099? Well, not always, my friends. That's up to you to decide. If you need any resources, jasonfinalexpense.com. Know that you've got what it takes, and I appreciate you watching. We'll see you soon.